mas a pista parou. Encantado com seu gingar, todo mundo ficou. Vem dançar comigo, vem, dá-me esta honra. Teu encanto, tua beleza também combina com a minha passada elaborada por seu olhar conquistar. Uele, oh, oh, ah. Oi moço, oi moço, oi moço, oi moça. Oi moço, oi moço, oi moço, oi moça. Você quer dançar comigo? Tu queres bailar comigo? Você quer dançar comigo? Tu queres bailar comigo?
Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Kizomba tonight, the role of the follower. Please, join us, have a chat, put your comments in the group. My name is Andrea. I am the founder of Nzinga Nights. I also teach Kizomba. I dance a lot around London, around the country. So please join us tonight and share your thoughts about the role of the follower in Kizomba. Is it important? Do we need followers? Let us know. I'm going to bring in the co-host, which is Gario. Hi, Gario.
Good evening, Andrea, and good evening to our listeners and viewers. Welcome to Let's Talk Kizomba. This is the Kizomba Community Talk Show coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube. This is a show for the dancers, teachers, DJs, promoters, and organizers to share, discuss, debate, and of course, talk about current topics. Our show aims to raise awareness amongst the dance community of what the hot topics are on the dance floor. No topic is too taboo. We will talk about all subjects with no exception. You're all encouraged to submit your questions and your views and join into the chat. It's more than a conversation. It's your dance, your opinion, your show. Now, before we get started, we would like to say there are a few house rules. We're without filter on the show, but of course we don't encourage personal attacks on dancers, on promoters, on organizers, on DJs. We don't really like that, to be honest, and it's against ethics and goodwill. So please, no direct hits, no naming and shaming if it is possible, unless it's to the detriment of everyone in the community or in the scene. And of course, the main and important thing is for you to join us in the chat room for a bit of fun. Before we get going, we need to introduce you to our other hosts and panel. And we'll start with Georgia. Georgia is one of our dancers, relatively new to the Kizomba world, dancing a couple of years, but has already climbed the ladder. A competent dancer and is improving all the time, and is now a competent host on radio and TV. Welcome, Georgia.
Hi, everyone.
So would you like to tell the crowd listening and watching just a little bit about yourself and your rise to the top in Kizomba?
About the top, but hi, I'm Georgia. I've been dancing Kizomba for just a little over 2 years. I've been dancing salsa for 20 odd years on and off, but I haven't danced salsa since Kizomba came into my life. It's just overtaken my soul. I can't live without it. So I every week, a couple times a week, lessons and club, and I love it.
Thank you, Georgia. That was very short and sweet, and we thank you for joining us as one of our important panel members. Just a note, guys, please share with your friends, get them to join us, get them involved in the chat, get them involved in the discussions and listening and watching. Let's Talk Kizomba on YouTube and also on Facebook and Instagram. Now we're going to bring in another panel member. This lady is from Portugal. She brings us an alternative view and is also another dancer, another follower, and is very well equipped to talk about things from Portugal. So we welcome Anna to the show. Anna, can you give us a brief description of your journey in Kizomba and which has led you to the show?
Hello, good evening, all. So, yeah, I have been dancing Kizomba for more than 20 years. I didn't make any classes at the time, so I used to go to clubs and I learned how to follow, basically, on a dance floor. When I moved into UK, so 10 years ago, I embraced the challenge of dancing salsa and bachata as well, but kizomba is my passion, so you're always gonna overtake the other two. I can go to events of SBK, but yeah, kizomba is my passion. And yeah, I have been a follower even ever before I attend to any classes, so I just learn on the dance floor.
Okay, brilliant. So we've got someone here who hasn't really taken lessons, but is more of a natural follower. Thank you, Anna, for joining us on the panel. Next on the panel is someone is what we can call the jack of all trades. He started as a dancer. He is a taxi dancer also. He's going to be a teacher. He's got many strings to his bow. He's going to be an organizer and, of course, a promoter. And I'm sure he's going to tell us what else he's going to be. Welcome to the stage, Foxy. Foxy, good evening, sir. Could you just give a brief description to the crowd?
Thank you for that. You make me sound like Super Dixon there for a minute. No, well, with me, I've been a Kizomba dancer for 13 years now, coming up to 13 years. Originally, I'm from the reggae and soul background. I used to DJ reggae and soul music back in the day. Started salsa 15 years ago. Came across Kizomba accidentally 13 years ago, and then salsa just took a backseat, and I've been dancing Kizomba ever since. I do lessons every single week virtually, and I dance every week. And as you know, recently, Christmas and New Year, I did my dance-a-thon, 11 days straight, Kizomba dancing, Semba dancing. I will be taking up teacher training with Rico and Manon shortly, and I'll be doing the Tuesday intermediate classes at some point in February. So that's me. I love everything about Kizomba Semba, and it is now my passion. It's my number one hobby. So I love it. So here I am now.
Thank you, Foxy. We'd just like to say, for those that don't know, of course, two of our senior teachers in the community will be leaving the country. And of course, Foxy's been tasked with, of course, running the London Kizomba School and also other bits and pieces, courses that were normally run by Manon Rico. So do get in touch in the coming weeks to book your places with Foxy. And of course, the co-host of the show tonight is with us, fresh from Scotland, Super Dixon. Join the stage and tell us a little bit about yourself. Thank you.
Mi gente, boa noite, good evening, buenas noches. I can't say this in Scottish, but I'm here. I just landed, literally, but good to be back. Let's talk Kizomba. My name is Super Dixon. I guess I am... well, Foxy already put me on the stage here, but yeah. I'm a Palop. I was born in Mozambique. I grew up in Portugal. Palop, obviously, I grew up in Portugal since my 7 years old. I've been immersed in Kizomba, Angolan culture. And growing up, I managed to be around other Palop cultures in Portugal, learning bits and bobs from every other culture. When I say 7, I would say probably I'll be dancing for more years than I can count. But I usually say, let's say, since I've been dancing 25 years, so I don't show my age, right? But I've been teaching in the UK for 14 years. For 14 years, I've been a dance teacher, a DJ, promoter, event organizer, above everything, culture promoter. I consider myself an entertainer, and I live and breathe Kizomba culture. And I'm happy to be here in the show to try to help to give a perspective from the follow-up perspective. So don't forget to like, don't forget to share the links, invite your friends. This show is about to rock everything. We got the ladies to talk. Let's see what is the role of the follower tonight. Azembara.
Thank you, Super Dixon. And
just one more thing. I also have my dance school opened in London. And in fact, last week I launched my dance school in Thornton Heath with Super Salsa Keys, Salsa and Kizomba. And by accident, I also opened the school last Wednesday in Crystal Palace at Escape Bars. So South London, I'm here.
What do you mean by accident? Say no more.
But Foxy, you're gonna be a teacher soon. By accident.
Eventually, yeah.
By accident. Okay, guys, there you have it. We have 2 of our panel and hosts here will be starting their own schools in the very near future. One has already started in Thornton Heath, Super Dixon. That's why he's got the name Super in his name. He seems to be doing a lot. And of course, the Fox, the wily old Fox, will be taking over the London Kizomba School and giving you the best in the dance moves in London. So, guys, let's get on with the show. As mentioned, this episode is about the role of the follower in Kizomba, and it is a topic that was totally wanted by our chief host, Andrea. She really wanted to get this topic out there. It means a lot to her. So we all decided to go with it. The role of the follower. It should be an interesting show. As mentioned by the guys, please join the chat room and start conversing with us. Okay, guys? Right. We're going to look at this role of the follower. I would like to ask the panel, and I do it every time, I want to ask for their interpretation of what a follower is. Now, we like to keep it short and sweet. It's just a brief understanding of what each of the panel and host members believe is a subject. So we'll go to Andrea first. Can you just give us a brief interpretation in your mind what a follower is without going into too much detail, which we will do in a little bit time. So, Andrea.
Okay, so for me, obviously we're talking about Kizomba, we're talking about Semba. So following for me is following the lead and following the music. I can't think that there is many more interpretations than you are allowing the lead to lead you in the dance and you are following him. I know that there are some feminists out there who may or may not like being led or being told what to do. You're not being told what to do, you're being invited what to do. So the lead's inviting me to follow his interpretation of the music. And for that means that I totally listen to him, feel him leading. I can get lost in the dance with a good lead. I mean, there are some not good leads out there. But it is, for me, following is following the lead. What is the lead asking me to do? What is he inviting me to do? There's a lot more to it, but I'll talk about that later. but it meant I attended classes. And please, people, don't be put off by when people say I've been dancing for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. You can dance, say you've been dancing for 30 years and only go out once a year. You can, I went to lessons 5, 6, 7 nights a week to learn Kizomba. And I've been dancing Kizomba since 2012, 2011, something like that. So quite a long time. But for me, following is a skill and it needs to be learned. And the best place to learn that is in lessons and on the dance floor. So if you don't go to lessons, you may struggle, you may not. I don't know. Some people are natural followers, some people aren't. But I'll say more on that later.
Thank you, Andrea. So, from my point of view, obviously we're going around the table here. What I will say, without going into detail, I believe a follower is and should be separated from a dancer. I think a follower is a skill in its own right. Whether someone comes to dance and they learn during a lesson, but a follower is a natural, and it's descriptive of someone that may not need lessons. We all need lessons, but may not depend on a lesson to get better or to actually be able to perform on the floor. So I think we just need to be mindful of that. I believe it can be separated from being a dancer and a follower. So although a follower is a dancer in terms, but actually without having lessons and without being directed, with regards to Kizomba. So Georgia, you're a follower yourself. Don't mind me saying, pretty new to the game. What's your interpretation of what a follower is? Obviously, you've done salsa for a long time, so you can have a valid opinion on this. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you 100% need to go to lessons, because you can't come, although many people think that you can't come from one dance, no matter what it is, salsa, tango, bachata, rumba, and think that you can do kizomba. Your body moves in a different way. You need to learn how to do that. And you need to learn how to let someone lead you. In salsa, the man leads, but you kind of take turns as well. Depends how long you've been dancing. But in kizomba, you just have to let go. Especially in semba, you can't share, really. You have to relinquish control. And if you're doing a slow dance, fabulous. Close your eyes, and it's much easier, much nicer. You get the flow, and every man dances different as well. So you have to try and tune your body to whoever you're dancing with, male or female. So you have to relinquish control. That's what a follower is, which is hard for a lot of us.
Thank you, Georgia. So we've had Andrea mention, there's a lot of feminists out there, and coming from Andrea, well done, Andrea. I think that is very true. It's nice of you to put that out there, because it's kind of true that there are a lot of feminists that may find it difficult to relinquish control, like Georgia was saying. So, guys, give us some of your comments and your views in the chat. We'll go to Super Dixon for his interpretation. Super D, can you just tell our adoring crowd what your view is on what a follower is, please?
Well, the word follower, in theory, is obviously someone that follows someone else. In this case, in terms of dancing, there's a lead and a follow. There's a dynamic between the lead and the follow, where the lady is supposed to get the cues or the responses from the action created by the lead. And like Georgia said very well, at some point, the better you get, the better you understand how to follow and how to lead. So you can start to kind of feel the moves and responses more. When it comes to kizomba, for me, I don't agree with the term follower because I come from a culture where most of us learn how to dance with our aunties. In my case, with the aunties, with my mom as well. We learn how to dance from a woman mostly, not from a man. So most of the times we learn how to follow from a woman. So when we go dance in the social aspect of the club or whatnot, if the woman doesn't know how to dance or whatever, and she's doing a move that we cannot lead, us men we follow. From a technical perspective, in Europe, there's this dichotomy aligned by the salsa world, the Latin world, where there's a leader and there's a follower. If Kizomba is 50-50, Kizomba culture is 50-50, then the question that I would make is there a follower and a leader still? I disagree with that term on that premise. In Semba, the lady leads, the lady is the beat keeper, and the guy obviously goes on the pattern of the lady's beat. So the question remains, who's following? Who's following? Who's the follower? I hope we can clarify all this in this show. Let's go.
Well, it's very interesting. I think Super Dixon has really kind of put the fire under the pot here, because we weren't really going to go into whether we are as dancers, whether we are following leaders, but I think he's already turned the pot on. So Super Dixon, hold fire. It's going to be hot. I think we're going to have to come to that very soon. Thank you very much. Foxy, your interpretation?
For me, if we're taking it into its simplest term, it does what it says on the tin. You're a follower and you're going to follow. So that's going to mean, for me, you implement the move or the step that I am directing, and you'll implement that on the dance floor. But having said that, the follower is as equally as important as I am as a lead. Mm-hmm. The roles, for me, they coexist and they support each other. And if they're done well, equally, a male lead or a female lead and a follower, then you have a beautiful connection. So that's how I see it in its simplest term, is that it's just to implement the step or the move that the lead is trying to direct. Now, we can go into details later on about the quality of the follower and equally the quality of the lead, because if you have a lead that's not done very well, then the dance is not going to go well no matter what the follower is trying to do. So, if you've got a crap lead, the dance is going to be crap, basically. So that's my view. But the roles they're intertwined, and to have a beautiful connection, you have to respect both aspects of the dance.
Thank you, Foxy. So guys, we don't want to be crap leads, so get yourself down to the London Kizomba School. Foxy's going to make sure you're up to standard. Okay.
I'll pay you later on.
No, so for me, I'm a natural follower. I don't lead, and maybe one day, if I go to classes, I will lessons, I will lead. But for me, it's natural how to follow. I think it's an interpretation of the leader moves. So when I say that I learn a lot on the dance floor, is because everyone leads in a different way. Some people based on classes, some people based on their cultural knowledge, and for me it's just a reading of the body moves. So I need to interpret the leader moves. That's what is a follower for me. It's kind of a connection. You need to feel it. If you don't feel the lead from a follower perspective, you just need to make yourself lighter as possible, and try to get smooth in the dance floor. But I think as a follower, even if I know all the choreography, even if I went to the classes and I know what is the routine, I will never going to be able to help if I don't have a strong lead. So for me, as much I can be lighter and try to connect with the person that I'm dancing with, I need to feel the lead. I need to interpret the move so I can go and follow. So for me, it's an interpretation of my partner moves.
Anna, this is something very interesting. Thank you for your opinion there. I loved what you said. The follower, their dancing moves are the interpretation of the lead. That was wonderfully put, and you know, it's something that I truly believe in. They're responding to the lead, whoever that may be. Now we have leaders like Andrea herself who leads. So you're very right in saying, in my opinion, that you know it's an interpretation of what the lead is doing. So therefore, as Foxy said, lead needs to be good and needs to be competent when out on the dance floor. But as they say, follow the leader. So if the leader's not competent, you still need to follow him. Just follow what he's doing, because, or she, may I add, you know, ideally we want it to be competent, but you're still interpreting what the lead is doing. So it might be one for later. We're talking about a two-way conversation. The lead seems to still be the senior partner in this dance. Anyway, we will move on. We have a question for you, and this has come from our own Andrea. Is the role of the follower underplayed in the Kizomba dance community? Andrea, let's go to you. You can ask a question. So, is the role of the follower underplayed in the Kizomba dance community?
Absolutely.
You do both, lead and follow. So
I lead and I follow. I don't think you can teach a dance unless you know both roles. That's my own personal opinion. How can you be educating and instructing people on moves if you don't know both parts of the dance? But I've always thought, and I started out in salsa, cross-body salsa to my shame, and then I move and I teach Cuban salsa as well. And unless I remember being in the class and the teacher saying, "Oh, you just have to follow." And the same happened when I moved into Kizomba, because most of the Kizomba teachers, when I started, had come from a salsa background. So I understand what Dixon is saying as well about the difficulty, the difference in the way that we teach here as opposed to in the country of origin. So we were always told as followers, just follow, just follow. And if we questioned the teacher and said, "Oh, but how do I respond to what the lead's asking me to do?" they couldn't tell us because they'd never bothered to learn the other role. So that's why me personally would much rather go to a female teacher than a male teacher, because they know both roles inside and out. Because we have to, as females, prove that we are on par, if not better, than male teachers. So I think the role is underplayed because the followers hold the key to the dance. They lead the dance. I know that the leads will say they lead the dance, but unless the follower is able to follow you, unless you're able to, the lead is able to transmit that whatever move it is you want the follower to follow, unless the follower knows the response, they're not going to be your dance is limited as a leader, let's say. So there are women that followers that I may, because I do lead men as well, but there are followers that I may lead, and they have no idea of the basics of Kizomba. Oh, I never attended dance lesson. Oh, I learnt on the dance floor and all things like that. And it's not that easy to lead them. I get that some people can't get to lessons because of time constraints and work and travel and all of that. I do understand that, but I can't emphasize enough the need for lessons. I still go to lessons. I love lessons. I love beginners lessons. And that just hones your skills as a follower to be able to have a really good dance. What you want is for the lead to not be thinking about leading you, for it to come naturally for the lead. And if there are some women I dance with, and it's like dancing with the bag of cats, it really is. I'm fighting for the whole dance because they don't understand the role of the follower. But I think that's the role that should be focused on most in lessons. Yeah, I get the leads need to know the routine or whatever the person has thought of. But I just think I watch classes that when I go to events, if I've not made it in time to join the class, and I think, why are you missing out the follower? Why are you not explaining to the follower how to follow the lead? You're just expecting the follower to trail along after the lead, and you can't have a conversation. It's like speaking French, a whole group of people speaking French, and you're forgetting that actually half the crowd don't speak French. You need to, you need to include them in the lesson. That's just, that's just common sense to me, but yeah, I think is, and the other thing that irritates me as one of my pet peeves is when ladies have a partner and the partner gets star billing and they forget that the partner is just as important. So if they go to a festival, it's always the male who gets the title. Thankfully, it's changing a bit now, but you still get the male's name in for big capitals and then maybe the female's name, the follower's name lower down. No, they're a partnership. You need to focus on both of them.
Okay, Andrea, can I just stop you there? Let's split that into two. That is something we will come to later regarding the males being in capitals, leaders in festivals. We will come to that. So you believe the role is underplayed, the follower role is underplayed. Your question you just answered. I will go against that for the purpose of I still believe the lead, in my personal opinion, is the lead, whether it be a man or woman. They are directing. And I believe that if you both directing, it could be an issue. It could be a clash. Not always. Not always. Bear with me. Not always. But I think, personally, I think a lead is a lead and a follower is a follower. It's not to say they don't play an important part. Just like a relationship where a woman might support her man and the guy, the traditional setup, and the guy is seen as the guy that in capital letters he's up there, but we all know the woman behind him is the one that set him up to be that good. So it's a similar situation. So thank you for your answer. It's very interesting, but I would go with the follower is slightly more important. Super Dixon, come to the stage. What is your opinion? Do you think the role of the follower is underplayed? And I don't know, are we looking at it from a male-female point of view for this particular question, Andrea? No? Yes?
No, because there are just as many good female leads as there are male leads. So, no, it's
So that
just
goes both
lead and
ways.
follow. Just lead and follow.
Right.
Super Dixon.
The answer is this: the role of the lady, is it underplayed? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, into arts, in this type of business, it is underplayed. Yes, the males do get most of the attention, but there's a little detail here that a lot of people are not considering. Who is the biggest customer in dancing?
Yeah.
Woman. Does a woman want to learn from another woman? And we have to go way back to conservative times. Do the women want to learn from a woman?
No.
They don't. They want to learn from a man, right? For 10,000 reasons of genders, right? Obviously, obviously I'm here paraphrasing in semantics, because obviously, yes, the women want to learn from a man, but when you're going to teach, the ladies actually need a female referral to see how the body movement is done. Now, as a professional here, and what Andrea said earlier, yes, a professional should know how to do both roles. Nobody should be a professional in dancing and they just know how to do the male part and they don't know the lady part, right? So if I was to teach, I know exactly how I want her to look, but I'm not a woman. That's when I think it's super important to have that reference, right? What happens, and I'm trying to stay on subject, is what happens is, and me and Jay Dixon, we were talking about this in Scotland. Me and Jay, we got popular by ourselves. We didn't go popular with a couple, like many other couples do in salsa, bachata, and even in kizomba. We are strong leaders or artists who can do both roles, let's say. So we end up being hired to do the gigs without partners. Do you know how many times we've tried to, I can bring my dance partner, it's going to cost you more, but we can bring a lady so that the ladies can have a referral. Most times the organizers won't spend that budget because they don't think it's important. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is one of the issues on the SBK world. Well, they will hire a salsa couple, they will hire a bachata couple, the kizomba couple. Well, undercut budget, but that's a different subject anyway. One of the things I must say to clarify here is that many years ago, I never understood why we're teaching kizomba the way we were teaching kizomba here in the UK. I didn't understood it, but I noticed that it was very male focused. I didn't like that personally, and that's why, for those who don't know, my Super Kizomba method is actually focused on the lady. It's focused on getting the lady to understand how the movement works, how the movement goes, But it's a shame that obviously in this industry in Europe, if they can go by without paying for the lady, they will go with it. And what we have to do sometimes is whatever students we already know, for example, in festivals, we already know that even if our students are trained by us or trained by one of our colleagues, we will use that lady as a reference. But obviously that's cutting short because they're not professionals. So it's just trying to get someone to show the move. But is that what the ladies want? That's another question to drop in the bomb.
Yeah, it's interesting because, when it all boils down to it, a lady wants to be a lady. I'm assuming here, guys, and we shouldn't assume, but a lady wants to be a lady. She dresses up. She attends an event at a venue. She wants to be feeling like a lady, which means a guy will need to take charge, come and ask her to dance, lead her in the dance, and she can go and sit down after dance and think, oh, that was wonderful. She goes home and says, that was beautiful. I feel like a lady tonight. I didn't have to worry about anything. So should the ladies really be thinking about, taking part in the dance, not in a horrible way, but trying to influence the dance maybe? Foxy, what do you think? Is that role underplayed?
It can be underplayed, yes. I think you got two things. When you're looking at it from a sort of promotional, managerial level, obviously there's been issues. I think they've been addressed now because women are being given a much more equal billing because there are some really outstanding female teachers on the circuit. and they're now being recognized as such. So I think that's starting to happen since I've been in Kizomba. I can see the likes of, you know, you got the Sierras, you know, you got the Teresas and people like that, you know, that are star billing at festivals. They're well up there. But also, I think I've been fortunate in one sense because obviously I was going to classes with Rico and Manon. So there was an equal weight applied to the lead, Rico, and Manon for the followers. So it was always a balanced view. And even before that, I used to do, you know, Sika and Khalifa, male and female. So you always had a balanced view. And I think that is the way to go. If you're going to be, I mean, I'm going to start my teaching journey. I don't know how to follow. But that's one of the things I've recognized. I have to now learn that. I have to learn to follow. Because there's no way I can lead a class properly, correctly, if I don't understand both roles. So it is equally important, you know, and I think we got to recognize that. And like I said before, I can have a dance with somebody, and if that follower is at a certain level, is competent, has done classes, or if they haven't done classes, they have acquired the skills by social dancing, you know, a lot. You know, the dance itself is just so beautiful when you've got that connection. And, you know, so for me, you definitely have to give credit to the followers. I mean, we can question now, what does it make to be a good follower? I think that's another question, because like Andrew has said, you've been leading many people and you are aware of the problems we have as leads at times, right? I've got to be careful what I say here, right? Because I have a bad back, for example. I have a bad back. So I have to be, certain times I dance with people and the dance, it could be like I'm actually in a gym workout or that we're in a fight. I'm not kidding you. There are times I'm dancing with people, I'm thinking, what the is going on here, right? Because I'm literally having to lift the person around the floor to get them to do anything. And I'm like, this is meant to be a dance, it's not a fight. Yeah? And sometimes it is a bloody fight. I think I've just finished a gym session. Yeah?
So you don't want to name any of these dancers, do you?
I'm not going to name anybody. No, I'm not going to do that because, you know, last year, you know, I was walking around London. I was the most hated man in the country. So I don't want to be wearing long helmets and stab vests again. So I'm not naming any names. Right?
No name, no one. Your school will end before it starts.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, there is an art. There is an art to following, just as there is an art to leading. And, you know, so dancing with somebody who is light, is adept at, you know, implementing the move I'm trying to do, you know, it's not an easy skill. There's not many out there that are at that high level. And that's why I always advocate people to do classes. You got to do classes. To get
it's funny you say that, Boxing. It's funny you say that. I just wanted to say something there. Because some of the most beautiful followers I've led, they really didn't do classes. And what I think what happened there was, it was almost like they were forced to actually understand, to learn to follow. Yeah, because I generally believe if you go to a class, you start doing routines and steps. I mean, we're coming to Georgia in just a second. Georgia is the ideal person to talk about this. You know, they kind of start getting into a methodology, a kind of a structure, and you know, they're not as free and flexible in the terms of being able to follow.
But listen,
as if they were raw.
This is why it's important that when you do a class, you stay and remain and you do a social dance after, because you will learn as much as you learn in a class. You will learn a lot more also on the dance floor. But at the same time, I have danced with people that are social dancers, and you know they're very good. But yet, with certain things I'll be doing, because they don't know technique, they will not implement that step as it should have been done. So yes, they can, and particularly if you dance in Semba, Kizumba you can get away with it more often, but when you're dancing with Semba, if you don't know your technique, then you will struggle. I think Gaio's disappeared there.
No, I'm
Georgia
interested
has.
in what
Georgia
you're
has.
saying about December.
Yeah, but for me, definitely, obviously, Semba with it being much more energetic, much more attitude. I think that's where you do need to have a certain level of technique to have a more comprehensive dance, not just a basic passada walking around. But if you just want to do some more things, if you want to do some, some different type of moves, some certain types of steps, lifts, dips, whatever it might be, if you don't know technique, then you're screwed, as we would say. I've seen people do classes, and the teacher would say, "Okay, this is what we're going to do," and you say you're going to do a dip, and you go to do a dip with the person, and that person has not actually had any technique training about how to maintain their own weight, how to engage the core to make them feel lighter and support themselves. So you go to do it, and you could almost end up on the floor. And it's these type of things that you do need to be aware of, and the training in a class is going to give you that.
Thank you, Foxy. I still maintain a free-flowing follower brings great value to the dance, but I have to agree, you made some very good points there regarding carrying your own weight and in Semba being able to execute technically some moves. So, I won't disagree with that. Georgia, you're in a position to answer this particular question. You go to classes every week. You're a follower. I've seen you in class question female, male teacher, helping and supporting other fellow dancers in the class. Do you believe there's a kind of lesser value placed on a follower?
Most of the time, unfortunately, yes. And usually they bring in male teachers who say, okay, these are the male steps. They don't bother with the women. Women, this is this, and you just follow. I mean, great, but just do the ladies' steps as well. A lot of us can follow, but, try at least. Just follow. If the man's doing a good job, just follow. So beside the point. So I prefer both there, to be honest, because the men need to know how to do the steps, so we have something to do. However, there are a lot of ladies that some are better than others, and you want to be shown the steps so you know what you're doing, so you're sure, and then later on the dance floor you're more confident to dance with whoever asks. So both equally important, and I like both a lead and a follower, whether they're both female, both male, whatever. You need to be shown both steps, both sides.
Okay, so a view from Georgia there, she believes with regards to classes, having male and female, I think we all kind of agree that is needed. But I also see a lot of women, when they are in the class and a woman is showing the steps and moves, they don't seem really interested. They're more still focused on the male teacher, which is very interesting. Anna, I know that you don't go classes. This is not really a class question. It's more, do you feel the follower as a woman is valued less than the lead guy? Do you find that when you're dancing, you are actually a follower? We're glad to have you because we've got the class-led follower and we got the follower that didn't have classes, which is you. So can you give us your viewpoint?
Honestly, I don't think it's underplayed. I think both has their roles on the dance floor. The thing, what is happening in our days is neither of them knows what to do and what are the places. And sometimes because And I'm not saying is a male or a female position, because apart from Georgia, I think I already danced with everyone in the podcast, including Andrea, and I love to be led by women. There's loads of women that lead much better than some guys.
Absolutely, they really
Um,
do.
it's true, and I dance exactly with the same pleasure, with the same way. Is the connection, and if you have a good lead, no matter if you know the routine and no matter if you attend to the classes or not, you will follow. You just need to have that connection. I think the majority of the ladies that attend to classes, they are too much focused sometimes on the choreography, on the routine. And what
Yes.
happens is they go to the social, when they go to the dance floor, they try to lead instead of following. And that's the problem when people don't have musicality. So when you don't have musicality, when you don't feel the beat, when you don't enjoy what you are doing, you step in on the lead role, and that's when the lead gets messed, don't know what to do. They get stiffed, so women get really stiffed, really heavy. That's what gives Foxy back pain,
And back.
and because they try to do the lead role, they don't know their position. And I agree with when they're, because I don't do classes in UK, and I'm just going to clarify this a little bit. It's not because I think I know too much or I have too much technique. No, it's just because when I attend to classes, and I did when I moved into UK, because my ex-partner didn't know how to dance, so I went with him a few times, um, and majority of the things that were being told and taught around London. Not, I'm not saying in London, because I was not going to London as often as I'm going now, but around London, they were not actually teaching the kizomba that I was used to in Portugal. So was not adding anything to my technique, to my background. So I was not attending, because for me the classes were boring. Uh, no matter if they were beginners, intermediates, or advanced, they were not adding and they were not moving on. So if I was attending to the same classes weekly or monthly, the same teachers, the fact that they were having all the time new students, they were not moving on. So I was not learning anything new. I was not adding anything to my background or to my technique. I was going because my ex-partner didn't know how to dance and he was learning. But that's the thing. I could see, I could watch, and when there is a couple teaching, so it's easier to explain from the follower position, from the leader position, and I think the ladies need to know how to position her body, her feet, how to make it light. But this makes sense when you're starting in a beginner's class. When you go to intermediate to advanced, the follower should have already some sense of movement, of musicality. So there's no technique to learn when you get to advanced or intermediate. You just need to understand how to interpret your lead. And that's, I think the base of that is you need to understand musicality. You need to know how to move yourself on the dance floor.
Nicely.
And for me is not an underplayed role at all, because if I have a great leader but I'm a really crap follower, is not going to be able to make the dance smooth and beautiful. And the same is exactly the same in the opposite. If I have a bad leader, no matter how great a natural follower I am, I'm not going to make that beautiful connection that we are used on the dance floor.
Mhm.
So it's a 50-50 balanced role that
Yeah.
needs to be put
Yeah.
together. That's what I think.
I think that's brilliant, and I 100% agree with you. And we will come back to that. We're just going to go for a short break, but I agree with everything you're saying there, and I think you've hit the nail on the head. Andrea, what song have you got for us for this interlude?
Uh, oh, where is it? It's Benin, Guinea-Bissau. It's one of this is my happy song. When I need cheering up, I play this song. and it just makes me happy. So we'll see you all in a couple of minutes. Hello and welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a quick chance to have a drink and whatever else it was you needed to do. Come for a break. I've been told off by Winston for trying to incite trouble. I'm just listening to the men telling us how we need to behave as followers. I think we're capable as followers of speaking for ourselves. So, ladies, please drop your comments into the chat. Has anything that anybody said sparked something off with you? Has it made you feel a certain way? I'm going to look at the comments in a minute. So, Gary-O.
Yeah, just before we go to the comments, I'd like to just touch on a bit more of what Anna was saying. She seems to understand more my point of view, where actually, of course, you should learn. Winston made some really, really important comments on some of the techniques you might need, especially with dips, tricks, lifts, and everything like that. And also, of course, with Semba, you're going to have to know some feet movements and, you know, steps with regards to the length of your stride and everything like that. But I still believe the beauty of the dance is for the woman to just submit and allow the guy to lead. Dixon is making faces. I think we're approaching, what time is it? Trouble time, Dixon. After 9, it's always trouble. Okay,
Gary,
guys.
Guns at dawn.
Let's go to the comments. Let's go to the comments.
Put your
I think
helmet on.
submit was a strong word.
Let's go before I start shooting. Oh my days.
Guys,
Submit was
we
too strong.
agree to follow. We agree to follow.
Guys, believe you me, when Andrea's leading, she thinks the same way. So don't you worry about that. Now, to the comments, we got a lot of people commenting. Good evening to Francesca, Julia, of course, Mr. Barosh, and of course, Julie Wheeler is the first with a comment. The ladies have to do their homework, lessons, social, learn the leads to feel them, to increase your muscle memory. Muscle memory is an important thing. And as a follower, even those that don't do classes, as soon as you get that muscle memory, it helps you with your following. Good evening, Carlita. Carlita, give us some of your views. You're normally very talkative. Emma saying touche. What are you saying touche to Emma? Do let us know. Good evening, Dorothy. We've got Gosha on the line here. I agree with Winston Fox. Classes are very important. It's actually rewarding to learn new steps, dips, and other tricks. I love it. I never skip a class. Now we know Gosha always attends. If she's attending the event, she likes to do the class. She likes the new routines and gets involved. Thank you, Gosha. Give us some more of your views. Richie Vibes, hello. Yeah, guys. So some of the comments there, I don't know. We've got a lot of worried panel members. I don't know why. Anna's made some very good comments. We should submit as followers. Guys, if you're following, you should also submit. Isn't that the beauty of the dance? You go as a lady, you dress up, you attend the event, you get asked to dance, you get invited to dance. When you get to the floor, you don't go in straight away. There's a little flirting, a little bit of foreplay. Then you meet in the middle and you submit. No, guys? We're talking about dancing, by the way.
Would you like
Gary,
me to
you
answer
come back to
that
lessons,
for you,
Gary. You
Gary-O?
come back to lessons.
Gary-O,
Go.
this dance is danced between mothers and sons, fathers and daughters, grandparents and grandchildren, aunts and uncles, nephews and nieces. It is not about flirting. All right, so I'm invited to dance by a gentleman. Lovely. Might be asked to dance by a lady, just as lovely. Or I might invite somebody. That's what I'm asking them to do. I'm asking them to dance, or I'm being asked to dance. End of.
Yes, but it's the way the introduction is. You know, it's a kind of
I'm being invited to dance, and I feel that dance is a conversation. So I'm having a conversation with the person that, let's say, the person that I'm dancing with, whether I'm leading or following. I am inviting them to follow me if I'm leading a step. If I am a follower, then I am replying in response to what's being asked of me. So it's can we keep the flirty stuff out of it? Because Kizomba is a family intergenerational dance.
Of course it is.
Parties in the back, in the back gardens, in the yard,
But
in the kitchen.
I clarify in the terms of the invite, the dance, not as in between, Linda here has messaged partnership, no submitting.
And I agree with Linda. It's not about submitting. I'm agreeing. So in any relationship, and dancing is a relationship that you're having with the person that you're dancing with, I'm agreeing with, and I may have boundaries in that agreement, and that's absolutely fine. Submitting is absolutely, I feel, the wrong word. I no, because that means somebody has more power over the other person, and the dance is not about having power over somebody else. It's about inviting them to share in a dance with you. It is not about, the submitting is about having power, and power leads to abuse. So no, it's not about submitting. Oh yeah,
abuse on the dance floor, abuse. Ooh. Well, guys,
we've had this conversation.
Debbie Tong has also commented, the follower submits. Nope, we are submitting to each other. Okay, so guys, we have to be careful here. Maybe there's a pattern with 100 women standing on the sideline. Is there something in it? Why are they standing on the side? If they want to play the power game, they'll be standing on the side. Andrea, I want to ask you a question.
Go on, Gary. Okay. Remember,
how much responsibility is on the follower in a dance?
50%. If the lead is leading 50%. But hey, if you're only leading 40%, I got your 60. I was told when I started dancing salsa, and it still holds true for kizomba. It's my role as a follower to make the lead look good. It's the lead's role to make the follower look good. So when I'm dancing with somebody, I'll be feeling how they're moving, and I'll think, okay, I'm not going to ask you to do something really complicated because I can feel that you're not going to make that, but I still want to make you look good. So how can I make you look good to everybody else on the dance floor so the men will come and ask you for more dances? And I know that there are men that I dance with, and their thought is to make me look good. So again, I get asked to dance by other people on the dance floor, except obviously those who have refused to dance with me or don't ask me, but that's another issue. So it's definitely, it's a conversation between the lead and the follow. It's not about submitting. It's not about somebody having more power over the other. It's about, and if I'm dancing with somebody and they don't understand a move that I've asked, or something I've asked them to do, that's my responsibility as the lead to help them understand what I've asked them. If they don't get it, that's my fault. That is nothing to do with the follower. It's because I've not asked clearly enough. So I need to listen to what their language is, how they understand me, things like that. So when I'm leading, it's my responsibility to lead. When I'm following, it's my responsibility to follow. I've always said followers need to be active followers. There's a few ladies that I dance with, and I love dancing with them because we have a laugh, we have a joke, and if something goes wrong, that's not really an issue. But I feel like I'm dragging them across the dance floor. They're not being active. And this, again, these are people who don't necessarily come to lessons. But they're not. So it's really difficult to have a full conversation with somebody if you feel they're not. So as a follower, if the follower's not interested in the dance, or they're dancing for some, I can't think of another reason why people would be dancing, but there are other reasons. So if they're not interested in the conversation that I'm having with them on the dance floor, it's going to be incredibly difficult. This is a connection that Anna was talking about, but there's not that connection there. It's incredibly difficult. But if I feel that somebody's not listening to me as a lead, I'll still dance with them, but you may only get one or two dances out of me because, like Winston, I've got to go to work in the morning. I can't have a bad back or broken arm or, So ladies need, or followers need to be active followers. They need to be ready to go. We may have done sidestep for a little bit because we're waiting for people to walk past or whatever. But the minute I start dancing again and start moving around the floor, you need to be following me. You can't stop and have a cup of tea and then decide to follow me. You need to be active, as my feeling is, an active follower.
Okay. Active, I think that's icy ground. I totally get you, Andrea, on that. I think it's a bit of icy ground because active could turn out to be someone taking it literally and reverse leading, or whatever.
I actually agree. I agree. That word active is a very powerful word because you could have somebody you could have somebody that is passive, for example. This is where we're talking about, we end up doing a gym workout because that person is just expecting you to do everything. I don't want to do that. I want to dance with somebody that is going to interpret what I'm doing and implement on the floor.
So would responsive be better? A responsive follower?
It's a responsive. No, active is fine. Active
follower is the best.
I think active is the word. Yeah.
Active
because
is the word.
Even when we're talking about Semba, there are times that I might be dancing with somebody in Semba, and there's times where the follower can do things that I wasn't directing, but it actually enhances the dance. Whether that might be footwork, or whether they might do a style where they lift their leg and hit me on my bum or whatever, but the woman has taken charge, or the follower has taken charge.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where the active comes in, because you can do that. Once you get to a certain level, I wouldn't expect a beginner to do that because they don't know enough yet. But once you improve, then there's times where you can do things that I didn't implement. Even on Friday, we had a lesson with Rakita, and she did a move where actually the woman could raise her hand and stop the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that. You were there, Georgia. You remember?
Yeah,
So
I loved it.
this is where the follower can actually enhance the dance and add to it, which I would not be expecting.
So
And that's what makes that combination beautiful. So
Thank you, Winston. Thank you. I think you're right.
I'm not knocking you down or challenging you. I'm just saying it's. I think the word active is the most powerful word that we could use.
It's powerful, and I think it's open to, because active can interpret also into taking charge in the dance. Dixon, we need to bring you in here.
Okay.
Responsibility of the follower. I mean, is it 50-50 their responsibility, or, for a want of a better word, not submitting? I can't use submit. I've been told off. But, letting the man take a bit more of the charge. Do you think it's 50-50, 60-40? What's your view?
So one of the things I say in every workshop, Jesus God, that I travel, and people who know me that I travel the whole United Kingdom. Right? I travel and I go abroad, and I say the same thing over and over in every freaking workshop. I often say that we dance teachers in Kizomba, people say that we teach different, we blah, 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 but we all agree in one little thing. Kizomba is a 50-50 dance. Often I say, from a salsa perspective, where 90% the man, 10% the lady, I often say, ladies, you owe me 40%. Some ladies don't understand what that means, obviously, because they just want to follow. They just want the man to boss them around. Fine, fair enough. That's not how our dance is. So one of the things is to define that Kizomba is not salsa, is not bachata, is not male dominated as it should be. Again, even the reality of the salsa and bachata dances in a Latin perspective, they know that the man might be in charge, but if the woman is strong, you know that you're not going to be a leader. But coming to what you said, Gario, and everybody here said so many things. Foxy was bang on the money with an active follower. It's so good when you dance with a lady, right? And you can feel you dancing with her, and you can feel that she has that flow, right? When we decide to, obviously, when we're dancing in couple and connected, I do obviously a move, she goes back, whatnot. As soon as we decide to open hold, which is something more Semba, really. Kizomba is not supposed to be a dance with open holds. All those moves that are incorporated into what we call Semba Kizomba today, and Anna was trying to say that earlier. She was being very polite, but kudos to Anna. But again, the Semba, when it becomes part of the Kizomba, right, we add the open holds and stuff like that. When you have an open hold, means that there's space for creativity. And a lady that is an active, no, I have a word which is better than active follower. A woman that is a good dancer sometimes will come up with a footwork that I know how to do it, but I can feel that I'm giving her space. Oh, she did that. I'm going to do it too. I'm going to copy her, and we're going to make, again, that creative creation. Now, if you want to be the man and you want the woman to follow you and to do everything you want, the woman will not follow and the woman will be constricted. Therefore, we are here to dance. I teach my females to be dancers, not followers. It makes sense? And make no mistake, Anna, I wanted Anna to say, but she's, again, in a polite mode. But Anna is a product of, let's go to that African party, right? Because they don't go to lessons. They just go to the party and they're there. Bombokers, dondokers, yeah. And we, the African folk, do you want to dance? Come and dance with me. Obviously, she has to follow. She doesn't know better. So if he's playing Terrachinha, Goodbye, Jesus. Welcome to the world. You have to do everything I'm trying to say. But there's a difference. There's a difference where we will invite you to how to get the connection, to do it correct. We want to make sure you do not mess out. You don't mess. We don't make you look bad. Because if we make you look bad, everyone in the dance floor will see that guy is a bad dancer. Because he's making the lady look bad. You know what I'm saying? So that's why in our culture, and everybody who is in this field knows this, Andrea is already knowing what I'm about to say. In our culture, there's something that is called public shame. If you don't know how to lead and you make the lady look bad, the ladies won't dance with you. The ladies will give you maybe 1 minute to show how good you are. Goodbye dance. 1, 2, 3, dance is finished. You disrespect the lady because you're the leader. 2, 3, tap out. The lady won't dance with you. Do you know what I mean? Now, coming to what we call the dance school and everything that we are trying to recreate, in this case in the UK, where we're trying to recreate the dance, trying to teach people to understand the dance, it's a bit, how can I say, we have to teach the lady how to follow first, and then how to make her be more creative. But this also opens one thing, which is like, I love the fact that in the UK, in Europe, we have a bit more etiquette and respect, or supposed to have that respect. But with the culture of he's a leader, she's a follower, it creates exactly that thought that Gary was saying, which is you have to submit to me. I can guarantee you go dance with Angolan lady or any Palop lady, you try to do that, my son. Shay, Hannah, I'm waiting for you to drop the truth. Come on. You're being too nice. We're here to dance together. We're here to create art together. But again, a lady wants to be a follower, wants to fight with me. There's only one follower. There's only one person that I will give up of trying to pretend I'm leading. It's my own mom.
I was going to say your mom. That's it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I also said that in all my workshops. Guys, my mom is my mom. My mom will be my mom inside, outside of the dance floor.
No matter what.
No matter what. As soon as I try to dance with her and she says a tug of war, I change my lead to what we would call a submission lead. And
careful, don't submit.
No, it's mom. You got no choice.
No, listen. It's not a submission. It's actually, you know what? I don't need to be in this hold. Because again, if the lead is strong, I can kind of reduce my lead format and try to kind of find a way to find the 50-50.
Thank you, Super Dixon.
Let's bring the ladies in, please.
Let's bring the ladies in. I want the ladies to talk. And I want everybody that's watching this show, there's a lots of comments dropping up in there on Facebook, on YouTube. It's getting hot. We want you to talk. We want you ladies. This is the opportunity to talk. You heard Anna? You heard Georgia? Bring the fire.
Georgia.
Yeah.
We will be with you in 1 second. Anna, go ahead.
Okay, so submitting is a really strong word for the dance floor. You don't use it. Nobody is submitting or being submitted on the dance floor. It's a connection. Is a balance between a follower and a leader. And again, I keep rephrasing this: is not a male or female. There is a lead and a follow. Can be. I already saw two males dancing and swapping every 5-10 minutes. One is a lead, one is a follow, one is and there are two males, so there is no submission, there is no fight. It's beautiful to see, even being two guys. And I know that there is loads of criticism around it, but for me it's so beautiful to see a couple has to see two women or two males is the same. If they dance beautiful, it is exactly the same. It's not a fight. If you try to fight with your partner, with your dance partner, you're going to look really full from the outside, and it's not going to be beautiful, and you're going to be tired. your arms are gonna be tired because the lead is gonna try to pull you like you like you are a lorry, and even the follower is gonna be felt like dragged, and is gonna be stiffed more than you push, more than you try to push someone to do something, to follow something that they are not used to. When I came to UK, I started to see Kizomba as a mix of salsa and bachata, because they were doing lifts, they were doing limbs, they were just throwing people in the air. I said, "What the hell you call it this kizomba?" It was a mix, so was more easier to turn this in a European dance. That's why you have variations of it, like urban. I dance urban, but for me, it's like robotic moves. It's not like a smooth thing. I cannot dance urban as I dance kizomba. I love samba, and samba is not like a closed hold dance. I love samba, and samba, like Dixon was saying, when you just go and do your thing, when you go apart, that's the time that you can show off a little bit as a follower and as a leader. You can do you can improvise, you can put your creativity on the dance floor. But for me, dancing is like a mirror. You need to mirror your partner, no matter if you are a follower or a leader. You need to perform as a mirror. You need to be in constant harmony, and if one of them breaks, doesn't matter if it's the follower or the leader, it's going to look really bad. And
Yeah.
I think fighting and trying to fight, if you feel that you are not being led properly, or if you feel that you cannot follow that person because he has loads of technique, just embrace the reality. Just dance once, try the second. If you can, just say like me, thank you, was lovely, and just go, move on, because you're going to be tired. And about
So Anna,
submitting, and I know that
Anna,
some people, just
I
let me
don't know
finish. I
because
know that some people like to submit and like to inflict some moves, and I know
Inflict.
them.
Correct.
Inflict is actually inflict some moves. I know
I
them.
know what you mean.
I know them. I feel that I can do them with some people that I dance and I have connection and I trust, but I
Yeah.
will not do with a beginner. So I will politely put my boundaries. And when you listen, when you travel by train, you listen, mind the gap. So that's what I do. I put the gap in. I try to explain on a body language that there is a limit, there is a boundary. And if they don't respect, I said, just thank you so much. It was lovely. And I go. I never put people down. I think they need to learn on their own way, on their own past, and on their own timing, that what they are doing is wrong. But believe me, when I put my gap, when I put my boundaries, they will understand. I don't need to explain in words. And no
thank you,
matter if
Anna.
he's a girl or if he's a guy, because it happened to me with ladies as well. So
Okay, thank you very much. Anna's on fire tonight, guys. I must tell you, she's been bang on with everything she said. Thank you, Anna. Georgia, it's your time. Come in. What were we saying? We kind of diverted a bit, but you know, 50-50.
Well, I know you guys don't like the word submit or relinquish or whatever. Put whatever word you want on it, but you have to, in order to pick up what the guy wants you to do. If you're not listening, insert whatever word you want in there. If you're not listening to him, you can't read the moves, and you do end up looking stupid and fighting and realize that you're not interpreting it right. You have to give in a little bit, and then you pick it up. In 30 seconds, you can figure out what the guy can do, what the guy can't do, and vice versa. Then if you have a connection, then it's going to be a good dance. But you do have to listen, put whatever word you want on it. But
Submit. Yeah.
apparently not. Yeah, if you're not relinquishing, I'm going to use a little, then what's the point? You might as well lead, right?
This is what I'm saying, Georgia, and I think people are taking it wrongly. I say it again. The woman, she's at home. She spent 3 hours getting ready. gone through 100 dresses, spoke to her mates.
Winston's
Not Anna,
changed
but a few
16
others.
pairs of shoes. It's not just us.
Oh yeah, well yeah, like Foxy has his
5 minutes
whole
to me.
case of
5
shit.
minutes. Come on.
But
But what we're saying
got
here
nothing to
is,
do with being submissive.
No, not at all.
what
No,
we're
I'm
saying here
not
is, hold on,
submissive.
Super
Can we
Dixon,
get back
wait
to
there,
the theme, please?
We're
wait
talking
there. What we're saying is,
listening to your
no,
partner.
they dress up, they head out, they're hoping to be treated like they want to go without any responsibility. That's my understanding. I might be wrong, but you go.
Absolutely, you're
Can I
wrong.
just add one thing? What George is
There are a lot
saying.
of feminists out there. Andrea said it earlier. I'm glad Andrea
Can I
said
just
it
do one thing
because
about
I
what
can't.
Georgia said? Just one thing about what Georgia said here quickly. There's a little thing here that Georgia is right, and it's not a question of submitting. But I often have to say when I have to follow in the dance, or I have to obviously be the woman, right? I actually have to connect. Like I have to disconnect my male part. Otherwise, I'm going to be as a woman. I'm going to be leading the guy. He thinks he's the one doing the moves. I'm the one leading him, making the moves, making myself look good. But on true honesty, I often say I have to shut down my brain. I have to shut down my brain and actually activate, like say, a full female connection in order to let them. Again, I try to let them go, and I try to. But what I'm actually trying to do is connect.
And Dixon, it's different with every person you dance with, whether it's a male or female lead.
But
you have to be attuned to them. So you have to listen. You can't
But
go
Georgia,
in and dance the way I just danced with you, with Gario or Winston. It's
Georgia, but there's one moment here where I want to just clarify that I agree, obviously, to disagree in the end, because it's so much easier. For example, when I dance with when we dance with other males and we start swapping, who's the man, who's the lady, do you know what I mean? There's a moment there where I have to kind of, okay, you do your stuff and I will catch up on it. And that's when we actually start to play. You know, it becomes like, okay.
That's what I mean. In 30 seconds, you can figure out what each other are capable of. Then you can play. Then you can dance, because then you're dancing together. Yeah?
Yes. But the thing is, if majority of the dancers are learning to lead, they do not.
It's not learning to lead. It's enhancing each other.
Exactly. That's what I meant. So I'm saying to you that I agree at some point, but when I'm saying that I am turning off, but I am connecting the female energy in order to do the connection.
That's what I'm saying.
So I have to let go. And the hardest thing in this dance, a lot of people underrate Kizomba, but one of the things I've been saying for years, the hardest thing to do in Kizomba is let go.
Thank you, Dixon. Thank you. And I will continue to go with the word submit. So in the comments, Gosha, Dorothy, Carlita, Debbie, all of you, please give us your opinions in the chat. I think, Andrea, we're going to go with some of the comments. Linda as well. Can we go with some of the comments? We'll start with...
Can I just say something? I think that... listen, and I always say to when I teach, you need to listen and feel your partner. And it is difficult for some ladies to listen. It's difficult for a lot of men to listen because they don't listen to their partner's responses. We're meant to be talking about the follower and the follower's role, and we keep going back to the leads. We need to keep reminding ourselves this topic tonight. We can have another topic about leaders another time, but yet again the lead is taking dominance over the follower, and the whole point of what I wanted to talk about tonight was about the follower, and we keep getting sidetracked by talking about the leads all the time, and that's not what this topic is. We can have another topic about leading and about the difficulties the leads have. And believe me, I know, I get it. I lead all the time. I lead more than I think I follow, but I follow, and I just feel that, like Georgia said, in lessons, and I watch them, and there may be a female partner there with the lead, and they're just doing their own thing in the middle of the dance floor, not paying attention. The one person that I think, the one teacher, well, there are some very good teachers out there, is when Rakita and I used to teach at El Grande. I mean, I wasn't teaching, I was her support system, or I was her partner. We would swap and go round. I would lead, she would lead, we would follow, and we would go round, because it was about expressing to the leads that actually they need to be, this is what it feels like to have a competent follower, an active follower, a responsive follower, because they don't get that if they're in a beginner's class, or a class that's got followers that are maybe not at the same level as they are. So I would really like to keep this, as much as we can, focused on the follower's role, because I think it's the most important role in the dance. If the leads had no followers, they'd all be dancing on the edge of the dance floor by themselves. And that was another point I wanted to. I remember
they would
when
be dancing with each other.
Yeah, probably.
Well, that's how tango started, by the men dancing together in the brothels of Argentina together while
That's
they waited for the ladies.
That's how Kizomba was.
Oh.
It's not
Men
now.
used to dance with men to practice.
Absolutely, and I have no issue. The one issue I do have, I will say, with the Palop community is, if I'm leading a lady, do not come up and interrupt my dance. You wouldn't do it if there was a man dancing with a lady, so don't do it to me. That's just a word of warning to men out there. But no, so there are a couple of things that were in the chat. Dorothy asked earlier on about putting her arms around a man, and is that okay? And my response was, I wouldn't put my arms around a man's neck unless I knew him very well, because you don't know who's watching, you don't know his marital relationship. It's a personal thing. Some men encourage you to put your arms around their neck. That's fine. It has to be consensual. I wouldn't do it, because I dance with men that are a lot taller than me, and I can't get my arms around their necks. But whatever you do not put your weight on the man. I've had people hanging on to, luckily ladies don't put their arms around me, so it's all right. But as a follower, I would never put my arms around somebody's, and I would never touch skin. That's my boundary, because that's too intimate, that's too personal. To me, this is a dance. I wouldn't be doing it. No, I don't put my arms around men's necks. But if you want to, that's fine. That's up to you. But just hold your weight. There is nothing worse than being crushed by a lady hanging off you like a lead balloon. Hold yourself up so the man is aware you're there, but don't hang off him. And this is why we say to ladies to come to lessons, because we give you all of this information in our lessons. I always do. Ladies should stand upright and should be proud and elegant and who they are. That's you have to remember that in I'm not going to talk about Angola, that the women are going out maybe to dinner, maybe to an afternoon lunch, or not a tea dance exactly, but they're in their finest clothes. They want to show themselves off to people in the room. They want to look good. So hanging off a man, not to me, I don't understand that. But if that's what you want to do, just make sure you're holding your body weight. So Gary, were there any particular comments?
Andrea, thank you. I wanted to just go through these adoring fans. We need to just give them something back. Peconia was saying she jumped in when she heard the word submit. The dance is a conversation. We don't use the word conversation in this show between lead and follower. Thank you, Peconia. Debbie here, she's saying we are standing on the side because sometimes guys only want to dance with the young hot things. Super Dixon is one person that does his best to dance with everyone. Of course he does, but it's not only that reason. A lot of guys like to lead, and when women become a problem on the floor, back leading or reverse leading, they tend to just not bother. So Debbie, just think about that one. Dorothy, she's trying to help me out here. It's literally just an invitation to dance, yes, but there is the ice breaking. Yes, in quotes, the flirt. I was using probably the wrong term. Then you get each other's groove and it flows. Now about submission. I think there is a big similarity between following and submitting. It's never 50%. There are moves to a song I would love to make, but I am told to follow. I cannot change anything, and that's why that's why it's submission. Some leaders do allow you to change the move, and that's where it's 50-50. Yeah, a good comment there, Linda Muller. Leader and follower, we are both there together to enjoy the same dance, the same music. We create the moment together, an experience for both of us to enjoy together. It's a fair point. Thank you, Linda. Dorothy, again, talking about followers, I think the question about body language, ladies may agree that as you dance, your hands and arms are tied at point, wrap your arms around a man's neck. I mean, we've already just discussed that with Andrea. Dorothy's asked this. Followers, do you find when you know and love the song, it's easy to make you want to lead? And as soon as you try, you get asked, do you want to lead? Well, yeah, but this is the problem. As I said, I'm glad Andrea mentioned it at the very beginning of the show. There's some feminists out there, some, how do we call it? Independent women. Independent women, they're out there and, they are, likely to at some point try to dominate. Can I say dominate? Yeah. So keeping it with the followers situation, there's a lot of independent women like to dominate. So yes, it will happen. Agree. Debbie agrees with Anna. I'm always in awe of people who can both lead and follow. Very clever. I wouldn't have a clue on how to lead, and I've been dancing kizomba for many years. Of course, we all can lead and follow. It's just about disconnecting your lead side. If you're going to follow, you need to disconnect. And it's same vice versa. Dorothy says, why do we find it hard to accept submission? It's beautiful in every way. And I agree. I think, as I said, normally women, I know we talk about followers, but normally women are the followers. They dress up. They just might want to just come and be treated like a lady, Not everyone wants to prove a point and kind of be dominant. So I agree, Dorothy. Sophie, good evening. Yeah, I'm still going with the word submit, guys. I think, you submit at work, don't you? You submit to your manager or your boss at work. So I don't see why you can't do it to a friend of the dance floor. Some people
submit to my boss at work.
Their own business. Sorry?
I don't submit to my boss at work. We have an agreed.
I think you do follow the rules.
With them.
It's a submission. Like signing a contract is a submission to follow the rules.
It's not a submission. It's an agreement.
An agreement's never in your favor.
I'm not sure what job you do, but
it's never in your favor, Andrea. As we know, work is never in your favor unless you have your own business. I think you'll find that. Moving on.
Dario?
Moving on. What are the essential components needed to be a quality follower? Winston.
Right. For me, there's a couple of things that I've been seeing lately in the scene. Number one, sometimes people not realizing the importance of attending class as a follower. So I see a lot of people doing choreography groups and all of these type of things, which are good for solo dances, yeah, but not when it's just, if you're just like all women or all men, that's fine. You're going to learn a choreography. It's not going to teach you how to lead and follow in a couple situation. So I see that happening a lot. And then I also see many ladies who are starting to lead, and they've been doing it for a while, which is good. But then some of them have actually forgotten the art of following. So when you dance with them, you realize, I think you've been leading too much, because there's things that I'm doing now that you would have known before, and all of a sudden that muscle memory has disappeared. So yes, I can see why women are doing some leading, but don't forget the importance of, the art of following. It is an art as much as it is as a leader. And for me, I just want people to maintain their own weight. I don't want to carry anybody's weight, number one. And, you know, just be light on your feet and be adaptive to what I'm trying to do, you know, initiate the move quite quickly. So to me, that's the thing. That's what I'm looking for. And then once we have that, I'm not looking for someone to say, submit to me. No, because I believe it's built upon trust. That person comes to me, they can trust me. I'm going to respect them. Right. And once we can do that, we can then have such a lovely connection on the dance floor, whether it's to Kizomba, Getazuk, Semba, or whatever. But trust, understanding, and respect is what we need. And then once we've got that, people come to you. There's sometimes people come to you to dance, and initially the frame that they've, you know, sometimes who taught you to dance? Because they're dancing with you to Kizomba and they're like pushing you away, and I'm like, this is Kizomba. It's I don't say that in my head. I'm thinking this is a couple dance. What are you doing? And so I just, after a little while, I said, okay, thank you, and I'll just go. I won't continue to dance because you're in the Kizomba setting, but you don't want to dance Kizomba. You want to dance maybe salsa and bachata. Well, go to salsa bachata. So to me, respect the essence of the dance. Come to classes, learn your part in the dance, which is as equally as important as me as a lead. Yeah, and we put the two together, and we could have such a beautiful connection. And in terms of this thing, dancing with the hands around the neck, I mean, if a woman holds me around the neck, it doesn't bother me, because sometimes I could understand their arms might be tired and they might just want to do that just to relax. And that's how I look at it. I'll just dance the same way. I don't think, oh, she's trying to hit on me, or bloody hell, I can maybe hit on her. No, it's just a dance. I don't see that as anything. But obviously, you did just rest in it, that's fine. But if they start resting it and then they start squeezing up your neck, and then you got to think, hang on a minute, what's going on here? You know, I didn't ask for a massage.
No.
To predict some. So, you know, there's some etiquette that you got to respect. But, you know, the Kizomba scene is a beautiful scene to be in. And, you know, I just love it. That connection that you can get with somebody that can actually follow correctly. The dance is beautiful. Maintain your weight. Don't lean all into me. Because sometimes I dance with people and they're dropping all over you. If I was to step away, they'd fall over. And that's the thing when you think, well, you're not maintaining your weight. You have to understand, to me, with my bad back, you're heavy. And sometimes I dance with people that are slim, skinny people. And they're as heavy as, I won't swear, but they're as heavy as shite. And you think, but they're skinny, what the hell? And you think to yourself, well, how could you be this skinny, but you're heavy as anything? Because they're not stepping correctly, they're not maintaining their weight. And it's these basic things that make the dance awful. But once you get that connection, I've danced with some people that are big people, and man, we can flow on the dance floor beautifully because they're maintaining their weight.
Yeah. Can I just add something? You just reminded me of something now. You know, you said, well, I can't remember what it was, but anyway, I was dancing with, it was quite a while ago, with Rico, and we danced a couple dances, and it was lovely. And at the end, I said to him, thanks for adjusting. And I'm pretty sure I said it to you once or twice as well. But sometimes, because every man or woman that you dance with is different, you interpret that move a little differently than what they want you to do. But if they follow you, it's really nice. It's still a move. Might not be the move that you wanted, but I've interpreted it a different way. Instead of going,
no.
If someone said to me, what are you doing? I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? How old are you?
No. Sometimes I dance with people and I implement a move and they don't action it correctly. And they go, oh, sorry. And I just say, don't worry, nobody knows.
Yeah, no one
knows. It's only me and you that know, don't worry. And we just continue dancing. And then they don't feel no way if they make a mistake. I'm not going to correct you. I'm not going to say, right, we're going to do it again. You better get it right. No. Well, we just carry on dancing.
About how many men think, and I'm going to say men because no woman has said this to me, I'm going to do that again. I'm like, can you just not just dance?
Yeah, because you shouldn't be teaching someone on the dance floor.
You do it properly.
Unless
Yeah,
they've
guys.
asked you to. Unless they've
But you
asked
know,
you to.
I also think when you dance with someone for a bit longer, I think it will give the lady follower more license because you're spending more time with that person. So, you know, I think it happened to me as well. They're saying sorry, and I'm like, don't you ever say sorry, you know?
Yeah, but
Don't
that
ever
was
say sorry. Just get on with it. Just carry on, because accidentally sometimes it works out very well what they did.
Yes. Yes.
Funny enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you guys there.
Yeah. If you try and be the big man and go, you know, let's do that again, I'm just going to leave you on the dance floor. I'm going to send you.
Yeah.
I'm going to dance.
I think that's the way.
I won't
And
dance.
again, and I know I've said this before a few times. One of my cringes is when I see somebody who's a fairly new beginner, or an absolute beginner or a beginner, and then they've got a lead that wants to do every single dip, trick, and everything else in.
But no one wants.
Thinking, why?
Yeah, to impress, to make them.
Yeah, I just can't fathom it out. Just stop it. I cringe sometimes because you can see clearly the follower doesn't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And this person doing all these lifts and dips and tricks and everything. Like, really?
Yeah. And you don't feel safe. You don't feel safe.
No.
As a beginner in Kizomba, because I was quite small, they would try and do stuff like that with me, but I'm stronger than I look, and I stop and I stop them and I say no. There are a couple of people that I will do that with, but I'm much more experienced than I was when I was dancing 2-3 months. They started doing stuff like that with me, and I thought, no, I don't want to do that, thank you. I'm not confident enough to do that, meaning I don't want to do that with you. However, what I was saying before was, when you're following and you a leader has done a move and you've interpreted it a little bit wrong, and then you just carry on. At the end of the dance, I said, it was Rico I was dancing with, I was like, thanks for adjusting. And he said, most people don't even realize. He said, I'm glad that you did. And I was like, thanks. But you just keep going, because when you say things to a follower that's been dancing 2, 3, 4, 5 months, longer, a year, you knock their confidence, and that's not what you want.
Exactly. Yeah.
As a male or female leader, don't do that. It's not a good move, and people are not going to want to dance with you. Ladies talk, and we do tell each other things like that. If you try and knock somebody, most of the time they won't put up with it anyway, but we do tell each other because it's nice.
Yeah.
Can I just say quickly, there's one thing though that is different, Georgia, for what you said. Like, I totally disagree with people trying to teach on social dance.
Yeah.
But there's one thing though, which is very acceptable, which is sometimes, even imagine good dancers like me, like Andrea, like Foxy that can lead, right? Sometimes we try to do a trick, but we got distracted, or we didn't pay attention to the cues, or the lady just decided to do something completely different because she interpreted it that way.
Yeah.
So it's often I do this so many times. I say, okay, let's do it again. When I say let's do it again, I'm not saying 1, 2, 3. No, let's do it again without talking.
Which is fine. I also said that too. I'm like, I missed that, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, but I totally agree with you.
Me saying
the ladies shouldn't be allowing personal tutorials on the dance floor. But
unless we are. Unless I've realized, like, oh, what was that? Can you do it again?
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we need to bring that to the show, actually, Andrea. The Kizomba conversations on the dance floor.
Yeah. People try though.
And that's what it is. It's a sorry for talking over you, Georgia. I know the men keep doing it. I'm trying not to. Yes, it's a conversation. It's I know, but it's hard for them, for the listeners to hear. But anyway, it's a conversation between, and I will misunderstand something that you say, Georgia, and I ask for clarification. I'll say to you, oh, I'm really sorry, I missed that. What, I didn't understand what you meant. Can you clarify that? That's absolutely fine if you transfer that to a dance. But I personally wouldn't correct. And I know we've danced, and you've said, "Oh, I missed that," and we just laugh about it because it's a dance. It's not World War III.
I'll ask you again. Do it again. See if I can
It's
pick it
not
up.
open heart surgery. The trouble is that because I'm listening to the song and the music is always my master when I'm dancing, and I'm leading you to the whatever it is. If you ask me to do it again, I probably couldn't because that moment's gone.
Yeah.
Because that in that moment, that's where I was. That was how the move went, because it went with the song and what have you. And someone in the chat has said an interesting comment. Do you have a choice not to follow the lead? My immediate response to that was, well, you can dance solo. If you've agreed to dance with if you're a follower, someone has invited you to dance, they've invited you to follow. And because I lead, I totally get. I'll be listening to a song, and I'll hear a bit where I know that if I was leading, I'd do something else, but I follow the lead because they are leading the conversation.
Unless
I was leading a teacher who shall remain nameless, and I could hear in the song as a lead that something was coming up, that I was going to, there was a point of the song, and I knew what move I was going to do. He did his own thing, so I let him go, and I said, you have moaned at me for years about taking the dance into my own hands when I'm following. You've just done exactly the same thing. We've never danced again. But that's because he's got a massive ego, but when you're smaller than everyone else, you have a tendency to do that. But
that's why I keep singing the lyrics. At least I don't listen what they try to tell. That's a good tip. Just keep singing,
and something that they're not capable of doing, because
he was capable of doing it. He just decided to take the lead into his own hands.
Well, that's something entirely different. But my response to the question is follow, as long as you feel it and it's fun and it's a nice dance, follow. But if
do you have a choice not to follow the lead?
You don't trust him to do that, lifts and dips and tricks. If you don't trust him to do that, that's when I'm going to stop you. No, we're not doing
absolutely. No, I agree. I'm not sure in what context the person meant that, but no, I absolutely agree with you that if there's somebody who I don't think is particularly strong is trying to lean me, I mean, I always maintain my own body weight anyway, to be fair.
Yeah,
because and my whatever foot is left on
leg all the time, backup leg.
Yes, and if you're trying to lean me past the point of no return, there's no way you'll feel me pull you back, because I've got to go to work tomorrow. I have responsibilities. I'm not having you causing me to go to A&E. It's a dance. You know what I mean? It's not open heart surgery. So yes, but as Sophie has said in there, that it's leading well is better than a million years, and we as followers rely on the leads to lead us well. And my sort of quip when somebody said, don't ever tap me, but if somebody makes a comment, is you lead, I'll follow, because leads don't always lead clearly enough for us to understand how to follow them, and that's not my fault. That is the lead. That's down to the lead. If I'm leading somebody and they've missed what I've done, that's my fault. I need to make my lead clearer. Some ladies need quite a firm lead. Some ladies are quite easy to lead if they're light, if they're and again, being light, ladies, has nothing to do with your body weight, your size, how tall you are. It is how responsive you are to the lead. And I'll come back from dancing with somebody and my right arm and my shoulder, and I'll think, oh my goodness, it's like moving a ton of potatoes. If you
dragging the lorry.
dragging a lorry. If I, so that's why these things are taught in my lessons, particularly, is how to follow and how to follow well. But it's not easy to follow, and oh, you're just following. No, there's a lot, and when some leads will dance one way, and that's the only way they dance. As followers, we have to adapt to each individual lead, and because everybody will lead, or they do. They all lead differently, so we have to change how we follow to adapt to the lead. What we need is for the leads to start adapting to each person that they dance with. I do, but that's because I know what a lady needs in order to have a good dance and enjoy themselves.
And a bit of a looser grip would
When
I
say that I'm a
I need to
natural
breathe. I
follower,
need to breathe.
That's the thing. I cannot disassociate. I lead my mom, I lead my nephew. In family, I can lead. But on a dance floor, because I know the followers are quite demanding, I cannot disassociate and disconnect my brain. So I always go with my right leg, and I know that people don't like it. So I never put myself to learn how to lead, because I get distracted. I'm a natural follower. I get distracted. I sing. I put my brain out of the dance floor. I'm in my comfort zone. So I'm a natural follower. I can feel the music. I can feel the connection. I can feel the body moves, the body language, singing and thinking and different things at the same time. That's why I cannot lead, and that's why I'm not going to lessons at the time, because I know that I will learn the moves, I will learn the techniques, and I will anticipate myself at some point. So I'm not doing it at the moment because I don't want to lead. And some people sometimes tell me, "Oh, I'm just a basic leader." I said my role here is to follow. So whatever you do, I need to follow. So if it's basic, if it's
Yep.
basic steps, if it's tricks, I will try to follow my best. And what I keep saying to leaders is when they say, "Oh, you have nice moves, just lead me." I said, "I cannot lead you because I don't know how to lead. I can help you from a follower perspective. I can try to connect and try to make it smooth, but I can never lead because I'm not a leader."
Thank you, Anna. Again, on point. Guys, we're moving towards the end of the show, but of course, we're going to read the rest of the comments that you so kindly submitted to us. The comments I'm talking about. Sophie Cook, sensitive, open, receptive, whilst maintaining a frame. If follower
So
really
how do you
can't
find
follow
it?
something,
Where
leader
are you?
should try to adapt. Classes help anticipate and know moves. So yeah, I mean, the thing with classes, I think they're vital, but also it can take away a bit of the natural ability to follow, and also does encourage a little bit of leading, because when you learn something, you try to implement it and show that you've learned it, which could lead to, some kind of reverse leading. Sophie, again, I think actually Andrea's read that one. I don't get the move the first time. The leader I dance might well ask them to do it again. There's no problem with that. I do it all the time. On the dance floor, do it again until they get it. Sometimes I'll say it or I'll just do it. Debbie Tong says 100% social dancing is not a place where followers want to learn moves which a leader can't lead properly. I don't know if we should say that they're not leading it properly.
No,
Dorothy, you have a point there. Do you have a choice not to lead? If you're
follow the
been
lead.
asked to dance, if you've been asked to dance, you should follow the lead. That's just my view. I mean, going into this. Yeah,
But I
go on, Andrea.
wonder if
Sorry.
Dorothy also meant if the lead is leading you to do something dangerous or something you don't feel comfortable with, yes, you have the absolute right to say no, thank you.
And I think if we isolate that, I agree. If it's going to be dangerous, of course you have the right to say, look,
Yeah.
I don't think you should do this because, you know, I'm a strong
You don't
girl
have
or
to give a
whatever.
reason. You just say no, thank you.
And I mean, as we go along and we listen, this whole thing of this dance becomes more difficult and a bit of a chore because there's so many conditions. And, you know, I feel when you go abroad, we don't find these conditions. It's just like, let's dance. When we're here
It
in
means
this
you can
country, I
get away
find
with more.
Foxy, I don't know if you feel it. We're
Well,
always, there's
it's. I
always some
think. I
condition.
think. I think what we got is. I mean, that's going to go into a completely different subject, but I understand where you're coming from entirely, because when you go abroad, you go to a festival. People have gone there with just one intention, which is they want to dance. Generally speaking, when you go to somewhere here as a club, sometimes people are not always there just to dance. They might just come with a friend and like they just want to socialize, or there might be people, guys at the bar just want to drink. So I think it can be slightly different here, and so then you might have some issues at certain times. You ask somebody to dance, and there's a reason for this, that, and the other. So you're going to get that more here. You go abroad, man, you can dance a whole weekend till you're
Just
tired, you're
dance.
finished.
No conditions.
Just dance,
Yeah.
just dance, and that's the
Sophie
difference.
Cook can be a mismatch if one has to do a lot of classes and expects certain moves, but the other hasn't done classes and moves in their own way. True. Sophie says, yes, agree, Gary. Thank you, Sophie. And again, Super Dixon, that's a good reply. That's because in the UK, people are coming to learn how to do tricks and not how to dance Kizomba. As Super Dixon will tell you, it's a big problem here. They're not going to dance Kizomba. They want to learn tricks and look good. I think that's it for the comments. In closing, now we'll go round the table. We'll start with Super Dixon. Super Dixon, you've heard the last of the comments. Some interesting ones there. In closing, what is your view on the subject of the follower?
Right. I guess, like you would say, we will have time for a part two.
I think so. That's what I say.
Honestly, listen. There's one thing for me, and this is something that, again, everything I'm trying to teach, it comes from a culturally effective point, where yes, the women can follow, but yes, the women can also lead. And it's part of the culture. It's part of the dance. It's not. Effective line. I lead, you follow. You do what I tell you to do, because that's exactly the majestic that the word leading, follower, has in the dance scene. You know, understanding that. So for me, when I'm teaching the ladies how to follow first, is so that they can connect. The creativity process comes in the process of learning, of doing classes like Foxy does. Foxy says, a lot of people do 6 months, 1 year class. I'm good to go. I can go to socials and I don't need to learn anymore. Okay. One of the things I also noticed, like when they're teaching, when people go teach learning in classes, again, they want to learn tricks. I could have had my classes busier if I was doing all the fancy tricks I know. But then what's going to happen is they're going to dance with the ladies and they're going to try to do trick. This is not Samba. Even Samba doesn't need to be just stupid tricks. Flow the lady around the world. You know, I mean, there's also so many things we'll be speaking about, but ultimately, the ladies need to find a teacher that can teach them how to express, how to move as a kizombera, not coming from a salsa background or Latin background and doing a move like and jumping. Or the ladies need to understand that it's like, I mean, you have Anna, you dance with Anna, and Anna, for example, learned the arts the old school way, which is in the dance floor. It may not be perfect, like she says, but I can dance with her like I'm dancing with an African woman. Sure.
Very good
Connection.
dancer. Very good dancer.
Exactly. And even when we danced in the boat party last time, I just, after doing the first dance, I was like, let's try to check her out. And she was like, shit. Well, but again, it was made from a fun point. And I think one of the things that is missing out here is the fun part. But the ladies need to understand, learn from a teacher that will teach you how to move. You will teach you how the African woman moves. Learn these little things. And some teachers are just teaching. One of the best things I heard one of my students say is, you're just learning magazine, Kizomba magazine. You're not learning how to dance. And I think what is important, then I think the dance community needs to work a lot, is the relevance of the lady. I teach the ladies to be a dancer, not a follower. The best dances are with the ladies that are attuned. And a lot of ladies, Jesus Christ, like you guys been saying, they look like a ton of bricks. And then I can dance with Andrea, and I'm dancing like a feather in my hands. Do you know what I mean? All of that stuff, it's important, you know? And that's why choosing the correct dance school is very important. You know?
Thank you.
But
Thank
I think the problem is way bigger, than we want to address. I think Andrea had the great idea bringing this topic. Kudos to Andrea. And I was trying to tell Andrea, oh, you think I'm coming here to protect the guys? You think I'm on the guy's side, on the leads? I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I actually empower the ladies, the women. You know what I mean? And I think that needs to be done by everyone. Agree to disagree? I hate the word follower. I believe that there's what you call. I believe that when people come to my lessons, I say, "Do you want to be a gent? You want to be a man, or you want to be a lady?" One has an important role, and I think the lady's role is way more important than people make it show. That's my take for today. I think I don't want to go further,
Super
otherwise I won't.
Dixon, thank you for hosting, co-hosting. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time. We'll move on to Anna quickly. Anna, in closing, your view, how important is the follower?
I think it's in my opinion, is 50-50 minimal, because if each one of us know our roles, things gonna look really beautiful and smooth. I think the majority of the people with the fancy moves, fancy tricks, they like to show off. One thing is they like to show off. But if you like to show off, you like the tricks, you like that fancy moves, throw people in the air, just go for competition, just go for festivals, just subscribe this kind of um, competition contests. Because if you go to clubs, if you go to social, if you go to parties, you want to enjoy yourself. And if you keep the following and the leading balanced with respect, boundaries, and fun, enjoy. Just remember to enjoy yourself, because music and dancing is all about fun, enjoying, not to see if I'm putting my feet to the right, if I'm putting my feet to the left, if I'm looking down, if I'm looking up, if I'm looking around, who is looking at me. No, just follow the music, just follow the body language. And if you don't feel the connection, if you are reading the body language that you don't like, if you are reading something on the your partner's body that you don't like, stop it. Just put your boundaries. Just say thank you. You don't need to be rude. Just say thank you. Usually, I always say thank you was lovely, and on the second song, I'm out. So it's just, you don't need to destroy the other person to tell that
No,
you had enough. They will
yes.
understand. The etiquette that we have in UK is a little bit different from the pull-up culture. For example, I saw some comments about putting the arm around the neck. In the pull-up culture, everyone knows if you put your hand on the neck, they are a couple. They are a couple for many years, so you don't do that on the dance floor. Just if you are connected, married for years. So that's kind of difference. That why I went to classes. Why I in when I moved to UK, I went to see some classes. I went to attend to some um, things on the dance floor, so I could understand the difference, and it's quite different. So you need to adjust and adapt, but always with respect, tolerance, and boundaries. I think if you don't lose the track of it and you have fun, I think is much better than going to the dance floor to show off and do competition. Just follow and enjoy yourself. People just
Thank you,
forget to
Anna.
enjoy themselves.
Perfect. Thank you. And you've been on fire today. Thank you so much. It's great to have you back. You've been on point all night. Georgia, quickly summing up, how important is the follower?
Your mic.
Yeah, it won't go off. Without the follower, what are you guys going to do? Stand around and talk to each other? You need us.
Yeah, it's a social. No, don't forget, it's a social for a lot of people. They can stand around the side drinking.
Yeah, fine. We're not talking about the social side now, though, are we? We're talking about the conversation today is about followers. So, very important, 50-50. But without one or the other, it's not as much fun, is it? So respect for each other on the dance floor, off the dance floor also. And just have fun. Have fun.
Okay, Georgia, thank you so much. And it's been such a good show. We have comments still coming in. We're not going to have time to read those comments. So, guys, we want to thank all of you. Lucia, Debbie, Gosha, everyone else, Mr. Barosh, Clarissa's just joined us. Guys, we really thank you. Sophie, we really are grateful for your input tonight. And we hope you'll join us for the second part sometime soon. So what we'll say again, please subscribe to all the pages. Please follow us. Please send us your ideas, guys. It's your show. Send us your ideas, your subjects, anything you want, and we'll take it into consideration. And with that, this is the end of the show. Thank you so much. Time has gone very quickly, and we'll have to leave you right there. And we'll go to Andrea for the last song. Andrea, thank you so much for hosting.
You're welcome. I've really enjoyed the conversation tonight and the chat from everybody. I think we're going to have to do a part 2 because I sent you a whole list of questions that we didn't even get to. So there's a lot of things in there, but I think we all agree that the follower is important and needs to be treated with respect and equal value to the lead. Really interesting comments that we've had there. So thank you, everybody. I'm just going to pick a song. And obviously like the group, like the page, follow us, and then you'll know when the next one is. It's in 2 weeks' time, which is scarily the 3rd of February. So we're finally going to be out of dull January. Right. So thank you all very much and see you soon.
Ciao.
Já faz algum tempo desde que entraste na minha vida, e até hoje casamento é só teoria. Tua família já me olha como uma mentira. Supostamente não era pra ficar comigo. Não temos casa pra morar, mas insistem em casar. Como será depois? Como será depois? Saiba que eu te amo, amor. Tudo que eu mais quero é te dar o meu coração, receber tua paixão. Deixa de pensar besteira, estamos juntos na trincheira. Mas eu não sei como buscar as condições. Temos renda pra pagar, a creche pra pagar.